Hello, in this video I'd like to show you how to use the interactive characteristics of PowerPoint to create things like quizzes. You can also use this to create games and other things that would engage students and more actively involve them in their learning. As you prepare your lessons for teaching, you of course want to make them interesting, and one way to make them interesting is to make them interactive and really involve your students. Quite often we want to check for understanding to see whether our students have understood the concepts and we're ready to move on to the next concept, or whether we need to continue with what we're doing. One way to check for understanding is to create a quiz. I'm going to show you how to create a quiz, and you can also use these same techniques to create things like games and other things that might be more interesting and engaging for your students. I'm going to start out by moving to outline mode, because we find that it is generally best, almost always best, to start with an outline or a rough sketch of what we want to do and then fill in the details. So we're going to create a quiz here. So I'm just going to type in the titles of the pages that I've roughed out in my notes and thought about before I sat down to create this quiz. So I'm going to have a title page. This is just going to be my quiz. And then every time I hit enter I get a new slide, and I can type in a new slide. So I'm going to create a page that has the questions on it, so that all my questions, there's a hyperlink to all my questions on one page. This gives me a place to come back to when I get done with a question, so that I can go on to the next question, or I can redo a question if I want to. Then I'm going to have a quiz with two questions. So I'm going to have a place here for question 1. And each time I create a question, I want positive and correct and incorrect feedback. I want them both to be positive, but I want correct and incorrect. So I'm going to make a page here for correct feedback for 1. I'm just going to label correct 1, and I'm going to create a page for incorrect answer on question 1. And then I'll do the same for question 2, a place to put the question, and then a correct page for question 2, and an incorrect page for question 2, and then I'll just say I'm done. And of course this may come at the end of a lesson where you had some content first. So now I'm going to go back to my heading page, and of course I always want to sign my work because I'm real proud of it. I think that's something we want to encourage our students to do, because I think they'll put more effort into it if they do get to sign it. Okay, so then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in a little index page. I'm going to get rid of the bullet points, and I'm going to create an index page that's just a list of the questions. So I have question number 1, and I have question 2. Now I'm going to hyperlink those. I'm going to hyperlink question number 1 by going to, I'll just right click on it here and go to hyperlink. I want to hyperlink to a place in this document. Now that I've created these headings for my pages, it's real easy to find out which page is which. So this is going to take me to the question 1 page. And I want to hyperlink to question 2, the link to question 2, and that'll take me to the question 2 page. Then we'll go down to question 1. Again, I don't want bullet points, so I'll take those off of there. And let's say we're teaching a unit on copyright, and so our question is, which of the following would be considered and we're looking at fair use. Under the copyright law, and let's say we Add answer A showing 10% of a movie, and B was copying a paragraph for critical review, and C, let's say, showing an educational video with a restricted audience, and D would be all of the above, which is our correct answer. So now we need to hyperlink in our correct answers and incorrect answers. So we could just right click on the incorrect answers, hyperlink into incorrect number 1, and this is also an incorrect answer under these circumstances. Incorrect number 1, these all go to the same page. Hyperlink into incorrect number 1, and then we'll hyperlink this one in to our correct page number 1. Then we move on to our correct page, and here's where we want to give some nice feedback. And we always want to reinforce effort and never give the impression that the student got it right because of luck or because they just guessed right. You do know, or I'm going to say you have learned, answer, you have learned much about copyright. And then in our incorrect answer for question number 1, we're going to just let them know that that is not the correct answer. Now let's say something like, you haven't quite gotten it yet. You need to spend a little more time and effort, and you will understand. We never want to let kids think that they're dumb and can't learn. We always use words like yet, or you will, or it's still coming, we're still developing, we're not quite there yet. This is not a failure, this is just a temporary setback. So that's our response if they got the question wrong. Then we'll go to question 2. Let's just say we'll put in a kind of a silly little question here, like are the UNK helmets? And let's say we want to let them guess red, not guess, but have an option of red, blue, green, or yellow. And again, we need to hyperlink these in. The red, of course, is an incorrect answer. That would be the color of another team that we know pretty well around here. So that would be the incorrect answer for question number 2. Blue would be the correct answer, so we'll hyperlink that into the correct answer for question 2. Green, oops, let's do this. Hyperlink that into the incorrect answer. And yellow is also an incorrect answer for question 2. So then we'd go and say, what are we going to say if they got question 2 right? use some big words so that students think they really got something good here. And an incorrect, you just say you haven't observed enough football games, but keep going and observing I always like to keep the word yet in there because that is one of those contingent words that says we're going to get there, we're just not there yet. You haven't observed enough football games yet, but you're going to observe it. You will get there. Okay, now we need to link up what happens when we get the answer right. Well, when we get the answer right, we probably want to go back to the question page so that we can choose another question. So I'm going to go into the insert menu again and insert a shape, and I'm going to create a button that says go back to the questions. And I'm going to hyperlink that button back to the questions page. And I actually want to do the same thing if they get question 2 correct. So I'm going to go in here, and that same button can be pasted onto this page. Now, if they got the question wrong, incorrect answer, I'm going to create a button, and I'm going to say something like try again, and I'm going to hyperlink that back to the question 1 question again so they can go back and try that question again. Now, I should be able to copy that and just change the hyperlink. So if I go to question 2 and incorrect, I'll paste that in, but then I'll right click on that and edit the hyperlink and send that back to question 2. And the only thing we're missing here is up here on our question page, we want a button that says I'm done. And we'll click on that one and edit the hyperlink and have it go to the end. So when they get